it's scarlet, therefore it's red. Does it feel like you're going straight from scarlet to red? Yeah. I think it feels like you're going through something like what is scarlet is also red. I put it in a more explicit way that makes it sound like a very sophisticated piece of information, that there's a determinable and determinate, but really that's what we think about it. What's scarlet is also red. Whatever is scarlet is also red. And that's to say that red is a determinable of which scarlet is a determinant. I think it's very natural to say that maybe the same kind of inference feels the same here. We perceive a blue rectangle. What is a blue rectangle is blue, therefore we perceive a blue. So that's about the first. That's what I feel like saying about the first thing. And there is also the issue of whether it would matter, and that again is what the paraphrase is supposed to do. It's as long as all the inferential connections are related. I'm not sure that the paraphrase is supposed to capture the phenomenology that goes with performing inferences. Now, about the second bit, about knowledge of principles of this form, you're claiming that this is, or might turn out to be too sophisticated a kind of knowledge to attribute it to everybody who can make those kinds of inferences. I realize this, that yeah, it might turn out to be like that. What I need to argue is that it doesn't. It doesn't turn out to be. I think this is a commitment that I've incurred to show that the kind of knowledge that's captured in those kinds of principles about determinables and determinants is not knowledge that's too highfalutin to expect anyone who can make those inferences to have. I think this is something I've incurred. And I haven't relieved my burden here.
Okay, next person, the person next to Amy. I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name.
I have a question and a suggestion about adverbialism. So you rejected inferential adverbialism on the grounds that it can't face the generalizing problem, and then you went on to
the grounding problem.
The grounding problem, and then you went on to logical adverbialism. And I didn't find your solution to the generalizing problem for logical adverbialism convincing, but there's a quite elegant solution to the grounding problem for inferential adverbialism, which is that the more sort of newfangled versions of inferentialism say that they're not just these relations between concepts and representation, inferential relations between concepts and representations. They're also, what sometimes called language entry and language exit moves, perceptions and actions, and those are the things that ground the inferential network. Now, if you accept that, then you can combine the virtues of inferential adverbialism and phonological adverbialism while avoiding the problems of both accounts, because you can say that the language entry moves have this kind of phonological character that gives you the phonological adverbialism and the phonological aspect of the adverbialism while avoiding the grounding problem of the inferential.
Right. Well, I think this is actually phenomenological adverbialism. We're saying something needs to have something other than inferential role to get its representational character fixed, or to get fixed what intentional type it belongs to. And we're saying, yes, there is something other than something other than inferential role, namely phenomenal character. Now, in fact, I think that's a phenomenological adverbialism. It will say these. You claim that these are just entry states, like input states and maybe output states. But I think it might be pervasive if we agree that there is a phenomenology of internal nodes. But in any case, first, these will be the basic kind of intentionality. Let's say the input states, and all the other states derive their intentionality through inferential connections to the input states. That's a version of the variant on phenomenological adverbialism that I defended, where the derivation relation is based on inferential connections. And that's actually Brian Lohr's position, precisely that. The input states, perceptual states, have a phenomenology. They get typed intentionally on the basis of that, and everything else derives its intentionality from inferential connections to those input states.
Yeah, and it seems like there's two notions of derived going on here. Because you could say, well, phenomenologically, right, the input states are underived. But you might want to say that semantically, the phenomenological states only have, well, you don't want to say content, but whatever it is you want to say, they only have their intentionality because of the inferential role they're in. See what I mean?
Well, that's I think they.
I mean, it seems like you could have a much more complex view that, at least I would find more attractive.
Sorry. So, what's a more complex view?
Well, I mean, my suspicion is that in your response to my initial question, you were using derived in two different senses. One is semantically and one is phenomenological. And it might be that what I was calling the input moves are phenomenologically underived but semantically derived. Whereas the
I was thinking that they are semantically underived, but they're semantically underived in virtue of having a phenomenology. So they have, or I should say, they fall under underived intentional types in virtue of their phenomenology.
Can you say about the last
Yes, I mean, we're already over time, so yours is going to turn out to be the last question anyway, so if you'd like to just follow.
So if you say that, then I'm not sure why you need the adverbialism in the first place, because it seems the underived phenomenal states do so much work. Just by in virtue of being underived, they already have their, they already play their full semantic role.
No, they don't. They don't fall under any intentional types until they get inferentially integrated with states that already have their intentional type fixed. So just inferential role will never fix the intentional type, in my view, because of the grounding problem. You need something else. You need anchor points for the whole inferential web. What are the anchor points? One view is that the anchor points are phenomenally conscious states.
No, I understand that, but it seems that the anchor points are only doing all the work for you.
Yes, the anchor points are doing all the work. Yeah.
But then why do you need the rest?
Yeah, you mean why do I need the rest? Well, I need to save the phenomena. The phenomena is that there is some intentionality which is not phenomenally conscious. I guess you could deny that. Galen Strawson denies that, but on the face of it, it seems like the tacit belief that 12.37 is greater than 8.92. I think that was my example. Has intentionality, but doesn't have phenomenology. So how will we say that it has intentionality on this view? Well, it's inferentially connected to. So that's why I need them.
Okay, well, apologies, there are several people who are still on the list, but we're out of time. There should be some coffee outside. One announcement before we finish. There'll be a dinner tonight, which will be at a very nice Indian restaurant down on Woolloomooloo Wharf. Some of you will know it already because you've had conference dinners there in the past. It'll cost $45 for people with salaries, $25 for students. And if you'd like to come along, please let me know by lunchtime at the latest. That cost will cover the food, and then you'll be responsible for your own drinks. Okay, but now let's thank Uriah for a very rich talk.